Work hard. Be somebody. Be something more than what you see in the mirror. Let the world be your mirror. Don't let them judge you, because the mirror can't judge you. You judge what you see in the mirror.
What's up, YouTube? It's Harry Knight, and I'm back with another video. I'm about to react to Jimmy High Roller. Yeah, Jimmy High Roller. First of all, his videos are lit. If you've watched his videos before, you know what I mean. Yeah, videos are tough. Like, all of it's informative. Like, you can just learn about something from just watching his videos. So yeah, you're about to get into this video. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Oh yeah, and the video is called "It's So Much Worse Than We Thought." It's like in the thumbnail it shows Kawhi with his injury, so I guess it's gonna be about injuries or the Kawhi injury, maybe concussion. I don't know. But we'll see when we get into this video. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1K as soon as possible. Feel me? Yeah, trying to run it up. Trying to run up the subscribers, the views too. Yeah. So like, comment, subscribe. About to get to this. Let's get it.
It's November 2nd, 1991. The Warriors are facing off against the Kings in an early season matchup. Golden State is coming into the season as one of the top teams in the West, and they're looking to make some noise early on. The Kings are trash. In fact, the Kings were so bad that by halftime, the Warriors had broken an NBA record that was sure to never be broken again. A 47-point lead by halftime. 47 points. This is disgusting. It's disrespectful. These men have families too, you know. But hey, at least no other team has ever felt the humiliation and defeat that this poor Kings team felt on that November.
Leva has the rebound.
Nah, he's petty. He's petty.
He's petty. Very forgettable
He's
first
petty.
half.
Oh my
The
gosh,
Dallas Mavericks lead.
Yeah. Nah, that was bad. Like, that was bad. I remember, like, I wasn't watching the game. I was editing a video. My brother came in the room, told me Clippers are down by 50 at half. Come again. They have 27 points at half. What? But yeah. I don't know. That kind of messed me up. I was like, what's really going on with the Clippers? They don't have Kawhi, okay, but they have other players on the team. They have Lou Williams. They have guys that can. They have Paul George. They have Paul George. Whatever you say, like you say he wasn't playing well before. He can score. He can score. He can score. Come on, he can score. So that was unacceptable. I don't know what happened in that game. I don't understand. I didn't watch the first half. 77-27. I don't even know how that could happen. They didn't even have Porzingis. Dallas didn't have Porzingis. It was basically just Luka out there, Dwight Powell and some of those guys. And yeah. So I'm like, how? I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch the highlights again. I just don't know how that even happened. They have Nicholas Batum. He's pretty good too. So they have Ibaka. They have all those guys. But I'm gonna have to watch the highlights again, like I said before, and like really understand why they only had 27 in the first half. Because, like, honestly, Clippers, I don't know. I don't know if it's bad luck. I don't know if it's just they can't work together as a team. But that is terrible. That's absolutely terrible.
77-27.
Largest deficit at halftime in the history of the NBA.
My God. How does this even happen? Down 50 points.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Halftime? Did the Clippers even show up? I mean,
no,
yeah, I get that Serge
didn't.
Ibaka gave Kawhi Leonard an elbow that would have made The Rock proud, so he ain't playing. But the Mavs don't have Porzingis either, so on paper, this seems like a pretty even matchup. But, I guess not. Paul George? Yeah, he's there. Ibaka, Pat Bev, Reggie Jackson, Zubats, Lou Will. Yep, the gang's all here. Well, I mean, they're here, but they didn't show up. Their entire starting five scored a whopping 41 points. That's not at the half, that's for the entire game. And if that's not unfortunate enough, this starting five, who can...
Yeah, look at the numbers.
I was using Google Analytics and hated it.
All that money.
With a Reebee, I can create any funnel,
it's one bad game,
even across domain.
Combined for $240 million worth of contracts, shot 1 for 19 from 3. That's 5%. Hey, buddy, you pay me $250 million and I'll slap on a jersey so quick and shoot 5% from deep all season long. Just tell me where to sign. Now, let's take a look at the reincarnated 92 Dream Team, or the Dallas Mavericks. In total, 13 players scored, and they shot 89...
This guy, Jimmy High Roller, has jokes. He has jokes. He has jokes. This man has jokes. This man thinks he's a comedian over here. Oh my gosh. He just roasting Clippers.
Like, from the free throw line as a team. But other than that, the Mavericks didn't do anything super spectacular. Dallas played how they usually played. Yeah. So this is more of a case of the Clippers just going 12 rounds with themselves, which seems to be the identity of this team and this franchise. Now, if y'all recall opening night last season, we were all jacked up in anticipation of the Battle of LA, the Clippers versus the Lakers. No one really knew how this game would play out, but it was obvious that this was going to be the NBA's new premier rivalry. Well, at least it was supposed to be.
Nope.
By the end of the first game, the Clippers got the win, and they had all the momentum.
I guess it is a rivalry still.
And then 2 months later, the Clips beat the Lakers again. And boy, did things get out of hand quick. Clippers fans were ready to place an order for their 2020 championship banner. They were sure of their team's sheer dominance. Game over for the rest of the league. The Clippers are snapping necks and cashing checks. But after a turbulent season, lack of chemistry, and more load management than a garbage man, the Clippers got bounced out of the second round of the playoffs in heart-wrenching fashion.
Oh my God. Oh my God, he on X Games mode.
Their flaws were just too glaring to overcome. We've talked about this before. You can't just throw a bunch of talent on a team. Out of this. You need camaraderie. You need chemistry, leadership. You need each and every player to buy into their role and be open to adjustments at any moment. This is what some of us have been saying all along in regards to this Clippers team. Loaded with talent. They've got size and scoring and defense and all of the tangibles you need to go on a championship run. But they are strikingly lacking in the intangibles department. Also, it does...
For my meal kit delivery, I chose the vegetarian box, and the meals that I received were the salsa verde enchiladas,
doesn't help that Paul George either plays like a first-team All-NBA superstar or a nervous wreck just trying to keep his spot in the rotation. So, what do the Clippers do? They spend the offseason resting and reloading. They part ways with their head coach Doc Rivers and sign LeBron James' assistant coach from the 2016 championship run, Tyronn Lue. They sign Serge Ibaka to be their enforcer down low. They bring in sharpshooter Luke Kennard and sign Nicholas Batum. These are all good moves. They are now deeper and more experienced than last year. And what better way to show off this new and improved roster than by handing the Lakers a giant L on opening night for the second straight season. They're looking cohesive, they've got a new coach who allows players to play to their strengths. Things are looking fantastic. Might as well get those orders ready because we're going to need our 2021 championship banner here ASAP. Wait, I feel like I'm having deja vu. Like all of this already happened before. Like this exact same scenario played out a year ago. And that's because it did. See, the problem here isn't the Clippers or Paul George. It's that fans get way ahead of themselves before anything has even happened. More recently, over the past few years, fans have grown accustomed to overreacting to every little thing that happens. It really feels like if you don't have a knee-jerk reaction on a game-to-game basis...
It's like if Curry's playing bad right now, oh my gosh, Curry's not the same player anymore. Drop 62. Oh my gosh, Curry's the best shooter of all time. Oh my gosh, he's so good. Like it's like this, like social media is bipolar or something. Like it's just they wait for one game to happen and they're just saying, oh, his season's over. He's not as good as before. Like it can't change the next game. Like, he can't drop 60 the next game. Like when Curry wasn't shooting well, he had like 20-point games. Like it's not like a really bad game for him. He's just like he's had he struggled a little bit. I know he could put up 60 points. Like he hasn't done it before. I know he's capable of doing it because you can see obviously how he shoots. And he's one of the best He's the best shooter of all time. Actually, he is the best. He is the best shooter of all time. It's not one of the best. He is. Well, yeah, like the way he can shoot at a high clip, and if he's putting up enough shots, and like right now, in the situation he is right now, like he's gonna have to put up shots because like around him, some people are not producing on the offensive side. Like um, Andrew Wiggins is starting to play well. He's starting to put up a good 20 points, getting back to where he was before, averaging 20 points a game. Kelly Oubre's been struggling, and everybody else is all right. It's whatever. They're whatever. They have to step up because like they don't have Clay. Draymond's doing what Draymond does. You know what I mean? But Curry had to step up. You had to give them a push because they started off the season bad. Now they're back on track. They're about to do good. So like they're looking good. They're looking good. But yeah, people just are so like bipolar at everything. Like plays bad. Oh, he's not the same player. 62 points, and it changes everybody's opinion. So he what he's saying is true. It's all facts.
You're falling behind in the news cycle. Paul George hits back-to-back threes, and I'll be damned. Pandemic P turned into best shooter in the league. 5 minutes later, Paul George airballs a three, and oh wait, never mind, he's trash. Knew it all along. Lakers in 4.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground with this stuff.
Never.
On opening
Never
night, the Clippers beat the
Never.
Lakers just like they did last year. And just like last year, this means virtually nothing for better or for worse. In that game, PG had 33 points on 72% shooting and hit 5 threes. Everyone was ready to put the Pandemic P talk to bed. Yeah. Literally, one game was enough to sway people from feeling one way to feeling the complete opposite.
Yep.
But wait. Incoming monumentally terrible performance by a Paul George-led Clippers.
And then Paul George is the worst player of all time. Oh my gosh. After another bad game. Like, come on. Like, it's basketball. Like, people have bad games. People have good games. But, like, you're going to just change your opinion right after one game? Like, you have to be consistent with it. Like, I don't know. Honestly, with the whole Paul George thing in the playoffs, it never should have happened. He should have never played like that. But it happens. People have their slumps. Like, I know as a basketball player, people have their slumps from time to time. So, it is what it is. But he just had his slump at the worst time ever. In the playoffs. Like, if he had it during the season, okay, people probably wouldn't make it as a big deal. Actually, no, they would. They would make it as a big deal, but then Paul George would pick it up after that. But it was in the playoffs. And that was, like, the worst time for that to happen, so. Yeah. I don't know if it's bad luck. I don't know. But he just played bad in the playoffs, so. Can't really sugarcoat that, but. Yeah. But I believe he'll get back to where he was before. He just has to, like, it's a whole mental thing. It's all a mental thing, to be honest.
Less than a week later, and Paul George is back to being Pandemic P. Why? How does a player's legacy and ability get dwindled down to good and bad performance?
And a player's legacy doesn't like one game doesn't define a player's legacy, right? Even 1 year. Like 1 year sometimes doesn't even define a person's legacy. Like even Dwight Howard. You cannot tell me Dwight Howard's not going to the Hall of Fame. You can't tell me that. That's foolishness. That's foolishness because for 10 years straight he played at a high level. After that, okay. I think it was 10 years. It was a good amount of time when he was on Orlando. And when he went to LA, okay, yeah, he didn't play well. He didn't play like a Hall of Fame or whatever. But what he did before that, it was enough. So, like, for someone to play bad at one point doesn't define their whole career or whatever. But, like, Paul George right now, like, just because he didn't play well in the playoffs doesn't mean he's not good anymore. Like, he could get back to where he was before. But I think that's just the internet. People just like to be negative. They expect more from people, but they just like over exaggerate just to get clicks and to get attention. So yeah. But don't get it twisted. He did play terrible in the playoffs, but I still believe because I'm a positive person. I believe he can get back to where he was before, and I've seen certain things like certain games that he had recently where I'm like, okay, that looks like Paul George. That looks like Paul George before the bubble. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
A game basis. Let's be honest, whether Paul George gets 35 and 5 in a win on great efficiency or 10 points in a terrible loss, neither of these performances changes his talent and ability as a player.
Exactly.
Paul George is an NBA star, and even the best players have bad games. For example,
Facts.
Building your business online takes effort, and when it's ready for the
100%.
world to see, that's where
What he plays tomorrow, when like the way he plays in a couple of days, like any game, like just one game doesn't define who he is as a player and his talent level. Like the whole season, maybe if he doesn't get back to where he's supposed to be and how he usually plays, okay, then you can judge that because whoever has that mentality to try to become the best player they can possibly be, they're gonna overcome their obstacles and that bump in the road. You know what I mean? So yeah, if he overcomes that bump in the road, you know that he's serious about it. So yeah, he's like you can tell that he's serious about this. Like he really wants to get better, and he's not letting everybody around him get to him. So once he does that, you know you can't say anything to him if he gets back to where he was before and consistently plays like Paul George as we know he can play. Like you can't say anything to him, 100%. But yeah, it's just a matter of how he's gonna come back and play, and if he's gonna get back to where he was before.
One NBA star put up in a game last week. Some fans would even consider this player a superstar. Any guesses on who this player is?
Jimmy Butler?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
2 points on 0% shooting in 27 minutes of action.
Hold up. How come I had never heard about this before? If Paul George plays like this, everybody on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is. I don't use Facebook, but but yeah. I don't really use Facebook like that, but Twitter, Instagram, YouTube videos, content creators just using Paul George's name for clicks and saying that he's playing so bad, oh my gosh, he's the worst all-star of all time, some stupidness like that. They won't talk about Jimmy Butler, but they'll talk about Paul George, as far as I know, because I haven't seen anything about this. But that's like, come on, you gotta be fair like that. Like if he's not playing well, hold him accountable as you would hold Paul George accountable. Come on now.
This game came fresh off of a 4-point performance just 5 days earlier. Could you even imagine the absolute riot people would be having if Paul George put up these numbers? But this has become a staple of Paul George and Clippers basketball.
Well, I think people just know that like Jimmy Butler's he's that guy. So nah, I can't even sugarcoat that. That's crazy. Because if like 100%, I can't sugarcoat it. They should hold Jimmy Butler accountable because he's way better than that. He shouldn't be putting up only 2 points. I mean, I guess it happens, but it's not fair for everybody else to hold Paul George accountable for every mistake he makes. But when Jimmy Butler has games like that are just like really bad, like for an all-star, for a superstar actually, I think he's a superstar based off of just like offense and defense. He can play both sides. Paul George was known for that before. People don't really put him at the standard anymore because they think it's sweet. They think it's sweet. Like they think that just because he played bad in the playoffs, he's not a good player anymore. So they don't hold him at the standard anymore. But I would say he's a good player, like both sides of the court. And so is Jimmy Butler. So Jimmy Butler shouldn't have games like that. 100%. He should generate like more than 2 points in the game. 100%.
It's metaphorical and sometimes literal punching bag. So where do the Clippers go from here? Well, for starters, they need Kawhi Leonard in order to succeed. Sure. His presence is not just necessary, it is absolutely critical to this team's success. His impact on the game as a team, or they'll be in the shadow of the Lakers for the rest of eternity. So with that, I'll leave y'all with something I created while researching for this video. A chart of some of the best NBA players of all time and the worst losses of their careers. Now pay close attention, because some of these numbers may just surprise you. Enjoy, and as always, until next time.
Gotcha.
This guy's always trolling. Alright, that's it for the video, man. Yeah. I mean, everything he said in this video is all facts. I've been thinking about this for the longest time. He's a punching bag, basically. Punching bag. Honestly, that really surprised me. I did not know that Jimmy Butler had 2 points, a 2 point game. Like Paul George is playing bad. He's not having 2 point games, but he's having really bad shooting games. And but you don't hold Jimmy Butler accountable. He's a great player, but like that's exactly why you should hold him accountable. Because he's a great player. He can do better. I don't know. That's not fair. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, trying to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. So hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything, man. Let's get it. I'm about to have some lit videos coming up. Don't miss out on those lit videos, man. Tune in and stay blessed, stay lit, and I'm out.